Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I do have wet hair because today I'm going to show you how I achieve my blowout. So I have very thick, wavy hair. It gets very frizzy. I can only wash it about once or twice a week because if it gets too dry from washing it too much, it gets even frizzier and it's impossible to deal with. I was never able to blow dry my hair with a blow dryer and round brush. That would take me hours to do and it would still look terrible. I use the Revlon 2-in-1. You can use any 2-in-1 like this. It is a blow dryer and it straightens your hair at the same time. So I'm going to show you first what I put in my hair before I blow dry it. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below and let's get started. So I use about 5 products in my hair before I start blow drying. So the first product is this Marc Anthony True Professional Leave-In Conditioner. My hair is super frizzy and honestly I need as much product as I can get. So I just kind of do this. I'm going to brush it through at the end anyways after I put all the products in. So right now I'm just going to get it into my hair as best I can. Might even take a little bit more. Always start at, I actually start mid-shaft and go down. My ends aren't really that bad. It's really the middle of my hair that needs help. So that's why I do that. A lot of people will say start at the ends and move up. I just don't go all the way up. I'll get the very leftover product on the top, but that's about it. Then I'm going to use this straightening blow dry balm. And this is Ion. I love Ion products. You can get them at Sally's. And they're affordable and they're actually really, really good. They work for my hair. And I again have thick, very thick frizzy hair, so wavy too. So, and when I say thick, I mean thick. And if this takes me 15 minutes, I mean, it's awesome. So again, mid shaft, and then I kind of just bring it down. This is before I have even brushed my hair. Okay, now for the mousse. So I started using mousse not that long ago actually. I felt that I needed it because my hair was just flat and I needed a little bit of bounce and I needed it to hold there. So the mousse that I use 2. The first one I use is actually cheaper. This is Ava NYC Main Magic 10-in-1 styling mousse. And I got this from Walmart for like 10 bucks. This one gives me more hold than the other one, which was like 20 bucks. So first I use this one. Always shake it up because it'll come out watery and you need it to be fluffy. So use about that much. And what I'll do is I'll just take it with my other hand, kind of do that, and then add it to the top of my hair and kind of just work it in like that. So I do that in the front first. And then I leave the majority of it for the crown of my hair right here because that's where you want like the most hold. So then I'll go like this and just work that in there. And then continue all the way around. Okay, and then I will use the Lange Whip Volumizing Mousse. This one, I like it because it's kind of creamier. I don't even know if it does anything. I've used this on its own before and it didn't do anything. So I kind of just use 2 of them now. I don't know. I use a tiny bit like that. And today I'm just gonna add it to my crown because that's where I need the most help. I will add a little bit on the sides, but I don't need that much. Now, if I wanted bigger, like a lot of volume, I would add more. So I would definitely add more of the Main Magic, this one, because it has more hold. We're gonna brush this through so that all the product distributes throughout my hair. Now that we've done that, we're going to section off the hair so that we can start blow drying. Right above the ear, you just take 2 fingers, bring that back, gather it, bring the excess down. And then what I do is twist into a little bun like that, and I'll just clip it at the top right there. Okay, so one more product, Bedhead After Party. So this is just like a smoothing cream. So what I do, blow dry in layers. So what I do with this, I just put it into each layer as I go. So you don't need that much, maybe a little bit more for the bottom layer, because usually the bottom is always going to be the thickest layer of hair. So just get that in there. And you don't have to brush this to distribute it. Since the blow dryer is a brush, distribute it throughout your hair while you're blow drying. So no need to brush that. Okay, now we can start with the blow dryer, my favorite part. Okay, so since I have very thick hair, I use the high setting. There's off, cool. So the cool you use at the end to just set the style in place. So you go through everything on the cool setting after completely blow drying it. There's also low. So if you have finer, thinner hair, I would definitely use the low because it does get hot. I have to use high because I have such thick hair. So it would take me forever to blow dry if I used it on the low setting. But you can use it on the low setting to probably not damage your hair as much. And it'll just take a little longer, but I think you'll have less damage. But again, remember the product that you use in your hair will burn off first. So you kind of have that barrier to protect your hair from the heat. So get it right under the hair. Okay, make sure it's all in there. You'll run through it a few times, so it doesn't matter if you don't get all of it at first, but you'll get it right up in under the hair. You'll kind of do like a half turn and then pull straight down. All right, so I'm gonna show you now. It's gonna be loud, so I wanted to show you that first. Here we go. Now to make sure that it's all together, after doing this a couple times, I will go in and just pull it down that way. And that's only to dry it faster. And then I'll continue going underneath. So let me show you. So the reason I'm twirling it once I get it in there underneath the hair, the reason I twirl it like this is because that will get it up into the root more so that you're really up in there, and then you can pull down. And that'll just make sure that you really get that volume at the top, and then you get all the hair drying at the same time. There's the first section, completely dry, super, super soft, no frizz, which I like, and it has a little flip at the end. Let's finish the rest of the first layer and then we'll move up from there. So sometimes I'll stop. You'll see me stop at the top like this, and that is just to concentrate the heat in that area because it always does take a little bit longer to dry the root because that's the thickest part of your hair. So that's why I'll stop at the top just to get the extra heat on there, and then we'll pull it down from there. Okay, so then when we're done with the layer, what I like to do is just run it through regularly just to get any flyaways, make sure it's extra dry, and just to kind of smooth everything out. So we're gonna do that real fast. And by doing that, you'll feel if the root is still a little dry. So if that's the case, give it a little extra heat and then run it down. And then you can do that again. I'm kind of just like, you know, getting it in there with the bristles and then just pulling it out. So that's all. This is just to smooth it out and make sure that everything is dry. All right, so that's our first layer. Fully dry, beautiful, frizz free. Don't need to do anything else to it. And now we're gonna do the second layer from the bottom. So I'm gonna take out my clip. And to section off the second part of hair, you just go right, it's like right under your bang here. Run your hand through there. And I do it side by side. So I take this out this side, and then we'll do the same thing on this side. Right under the bang, run it through, and bring it down. And then again with this, we're just gonna clip that up again. Okay, so we have the second layer. So again, we're going to take our bedhead smoothing cream and put a little bit on there. Just a little bit, maybe a little bit more. Okay. And I do it right on my fingertips like this. And then just kind of do one of these, see? And you can get this up to the root. Just don't use too much because it'll look greasy. So I start mid shaft and go down, and then the rest of it that's still on my fingers, I'll bring it up and put it in there a little bit. Again, we don't have to brush this through because the blow dryer will do that for us. So it's a bit thicker than the other, so it needs a little bit more love. All right. So now that we're on the second layer and we're done with the very bottom layer, any layer above the ear, so this layer that we're working on right here, you're going to want to bring, especially closer to the back, starting here probably, you're going to want to bring that up when you twist it at the root. So you're going to bring it up as you twist it, and then you can kind of leave it there for a little bit and bring it down. That's going to create even more volume, and you want all your volume to be in this area, and in the back. So if ever you feel like you need a little bit, see it's getting a little bit frizzy, I just take a little bit more of this, add the tiniest bit, and then I'll take that piece and run it through. See how this is a little bit icky? Don't worry if you get the hair under it that we already blow dried. And then as we go, we'll just grab more and more hair with the excess and put it on the hair. All right, and then we'll run over that part again with the dryer. So again, I went through at the end after blow drying the entire layer and just ran everything through to make sure everything was dry and smooth. So this is how it looks so far. See, nice and smooth, straight, with a little bounce. Now just wait until we do the top layer. The top layer is probably the more, I don't want to say difficult, but you definitely want to pay attention to it a little bit more because it is on the top and that's where you kind of get all your shape and all your volume. So there's a certain way to do the top, but if you follow what I do and listen to my tips and tricks, it will look great. And the more and more you do it, the better you get at it and the better it'll look every time. After my second time with this tool, I had it down pat. You get used to it and it looks great. So all right, let's do the top layer. We're gonna take this out and like I said, we're gonna section within this layer. So first we're going to do the front. So with the front, we're actually going to take it all out and blow dry it together. So we got that there. And then we're gonna take this out. Okay, this down so that we just have the crown left. So get that pin back up. We're only going to use a very tiny bit of the smoothing cream on the front part because we don't want to risk making it look greasy. So literally the tiniest bit. Okay. That might even be a little much. So we're just gonna rub it in a little bit. And then we're just gonna kind of lightly wipe it into our hair, into that top layer. Just like the tiniest bit, and then wipe off the excess on a towel, because you don't want to get that into your hair. It will look greasy and it's easy to get it to look like that. So you don't want to take any chances of having extra product on your fingertips and running them through your hair. So here we go. So with the styler, we're gonna go grab it all. So both sides of bangs, regardless of where you're gonna part it, whether it's down the middle or on the side, we're gonna blow dry it the same way because it's gonna be very movable if we blow dry it this way. So we're gonna grab the whole front and blow dry it forwards in front of our face. And that way we're gonna get the most volume, and as we blow dry forward, we're gonna pull up and forward. All right, so here we go. Okay, so that's not done yet, but we want to get these little flyaways on the side, which you will have. Those we're just going to blow dry out like normal. So these on the side, we're going to actually pull towards the front a little bit. It doesn't have to be completely forward, but we're just going to kind of pull it forwards a little bit. And then we're going to blow dry it with the rest of our hair just to blend it in. So the front pieces you can actually add, and the whole top, you can actually add a little curl to, by rolling the whole piece, because it will add more volume, but only on the top. The way it falls, it will look great. It'll actually add more volume, so you can do that up there. So don't worry if the front pieces aren't perfect. We're gonna fix those later if we need to once it's all done. But now we're gonna move on to the crown of the hair, which is the most important part. So first we're gonna take out our clip, and this is what we have left. And we are going, so it's a lot there, so you kind of got to just work with it. So we're going to make sure we have the whole entire thing all up in there and just kind of work its way out. So we can actually, when we pull it all the way up and through and we're curled at the end, we can bring the curl all the way up like this, curl it all the way to your scalp, and then hold it there so that the heat goes all the way through and you have it going through your hair while it's in this position to add an extreme big curl, which will give you all the volume you need. Always blow dry this piece straight up, because again, we want to have the most volume possible. So we're gonna go straight up with it. And then when we're up at the top, that's when we curl down and hold. Here we go. All right, looks kind of crazy right now, but now that we have that curl up there, we can go into smaller sections and kind of just fix it up a little bit. Now this part I do find a little bit tricky, just because it's at an awkward angle, at an awkward spot, and there's a lot of it at the crown, and that's where you find, well, I find the most water retains, so it takes a little bit longer to dry it through. I actually forgot to add a little bit of this in the back. I'm gonna do a very, very tiny bit. Actually, I'm gonna do a little bit more, just because I find it to be so thick back there, and that's where the curl mostly is in my hair. So I gotta make sure, I like to make sure that it's completely smoothed. So I'm just gonna put it in like this. I wanna make sure it's completely smoothed out and frizz free without weighing it down with too much product. So after we put the product in, we can finish up the blow dry process. So what I do at the end, just to smooth out the front, is I just run everything back, kind of just run it through as much as I can, and then we'll be done. All right, so I think we are done with the actual blow dryer. Now, I have very, very thick frizzy hair. So I am going to actually add a finishing touch of the smoothing cream. This final part is more for people with very, very thick hair. If you have thin, fine hair, you won't need much of this at all, or much of any smoothing cream at all. Yours will, with the finer hair and thinner hair, will more likely need it just to kind of smooth everything out, probably just at the end, and you'll only need a tiny, tiny bit. But with my hair, I need as much as I can get. So what I'm gonna do is add another tiny bit onto the fingertip again. Go back onto the fingertips. This time I'm gonna rub it onto my fingertips, and I'm gonna start underneath and kind of work my way out like this. And then go on top. After you've gotten the product in there, you wanna then go on top and just smooth it all out. All right, and then I will run the blow dryer through one more time and we'll be done. Okay, I'm gonna flip this over, just fluff it a bit. Not that my hair needs any fluffing because it's huge, but there is our finished product. Just run your fingers through to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit, get it where you want it. I need a haircut, so mine takes a little bit of love, but so there we go. I have tons of volume, nice blowout, it's nice and smooth. Nice and rich looking. And we're all done. So this is for, all the products I used and the routine I used was more for super thick hair that's super difficult to get smooth and beautiful looking. You know, us with thick wavy hair, frizzy hair, we have to try a little bit harder, but that's why this product is so great, because you can just continue smoothing it out, and it really smooths out your hair with all the extra bristles it has in there. So if you have fine hair, thin hair, straight hair, you can still use this product to give yourself that real value. You're just not going to have to try as hard to get that value. But with the heavier, thicker hair, you will need to do, you know, a little bit more, add a little bit more product, and definitely use the mousse. But that's okay, because we have this great hair tool that has finally given us the perfect blowout. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Ask me anything in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. See you next time.